Hey, ladies, and welcome back to the Power of Women podcast. I'm your host, Tori Jae, joined by the magnificent
Taste of the Starseed.
Yes. We are here. Ladies, today we are talking about something that, I'm not going to lie, it's real triggering for me. It bothers me. We're talking about withholding sex from your partner. Are you allowed to withhold sex from your partner? Should you withhold sex from your partner? Why do we even say that? Withholding sex. Like you're keeping something from somebody that belonged to them. It don't belong to you.
You're right. As the slave, of course, that's you. So if you are not in the mood, you are withholding it because it belongs to them. You know, you don't have a say in how you feel. And sex is not for your pleasure. Sex is literally just for his pleasure. Because if it was for your pleasure, you wouldn't say I was withholding. You'd say I wasn't in the mood. So if two people are not in the mood, sex should not be had. You fucking rapists. And I don't care if she is your wife, she's your girlfriend. You're raping her, essentially. If she does not want to have sex, sex is for two people to enjoy, not for you to offload on me because you think you have blue balls. In fact, I saw a message. I don't think I sent it to you on Twitter. No, seriously, on Twitter the other day, and it was so manipulative. My friend sent it to me. It's like Big Brother Nigeria, and there's always all kinds of cases of men all over the world. But in Big Brother Nigeria, seriously, like, and I never watch it, but I always see it on Twitter. And the guy is talking to a girl that he likes, and I just thought, why did you even bring it up? Because you want to manipulate her. And she's like, what's wrong? Because he's in a corner isolating himself, and he's like, oh yeah, I mean, I just have blue balls. So she goes, blue balls? What's blue balls? And he goes, oh, don't you know? She was like, no. What is blue balls? Explain, like, let me know what it is. And then he goes, calls another guy over because he can't, because he's dull, and gets the guy to explain what blue balls is. And the guy, both of them now compare blue balls to menstrual cramps. And when they said it, he was like, yeah, exactly. It's like the male equivalent of menstrual cramps. If I should cut your tongue out of your mouth with that rubbish that you are saying, don't be so stupid. It's like, what, first of all? And secondly, you see the level of manipulation, because even if, and like, you're telling her that you have blue balls because what you want her to feel bad and now relieve you. And whenever they talk about even the blue balls things, I'm looking at them like, you know what, right? Is it that you lack control? You can't control your sexual organs? Because even as women, right, if you're horny, right, you might be a bit frustrated because, you know, let's say you're amped up, right? The feeling goes within 5 to fucking 10 minutes, my jigger. Mm-hmm. Yeah? It's not that it's going to turn into a pain that is like, oh my God. Do you guys lack control over your sexual organs to that extent that you're like, I've got blue balls? You can't just remove your mind from sex and then let it go down. Like, no. Because it's not, like, literally, they see us as masturbation dolls. So when you say no, you're withholding sex. Not that, oh, you know what, she doesn't want to have sex with me, so let's not have sex because it's both of us enjoying this. No, I want to have sex with your body, whether or not you want to enjoy it. In fact, I prefer if you don't enjoy it. Clearly you do. Because I would never have sex with somebody who does not want to have, who doesn't, and it's not even, I wouldn't even take it personally. Sometimes you just don't fucking feel like having sex. So let's not have sex. And you don't feel like having sex, that's cool, baby, next time. I want you to be in the mood too. But no, they literally tell you, whether you're in the mood or not, I don't give a fuck. You belong to me, and I can masturbate into you, essentially, whenever I feel like it. Because you don't want to make love to me. And you certainly don't want to have sex with me. You can't call it making love to me. You can't call it having sex with me when I'm not a willing participant. I don't want to participate. What I'm doing is coercion. It's sexual coercion. You're coercing me into doing something that I don't want to do purely because, and you know I don't want to do it. So why do you want to do it if you're not a fucking rapist? That's what I will never understand when they say, don't withhold sex from your husband and your partner. Men too will be going, yes, you're a rapist. Because I will never understand why you want to lay with somebody who does not want to lay with you at that time for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. Bro, it's so normalized as well. It's so scary how entitled to our bodies they are and to our goddamn vaginas. Like, and it also shows how they see sex. Sex is clearly not sacred for you. You do not have, there's no sacredness in sex with you. You're saying that's your husband. I think was it Dana Chanel? Dana Chanel? Did you mention her? Yeah, that's been talking about it. I used to love her. It's such a shit. It's funny, like, I don't know if my views changed. Yeah, I think they did. Or maybe she got worse. But it's funny, a lot of the people
Probably
that I used to
both.
love. Yeah, both. Right. I just don't, I look at them now, I hear some of the views and I'm like, wow. But she was talking about, you know, ladies, and it was with so much passion and vim, and she was advising so many ladies. And I know that a lot of women will listen to her telling them that basically they shouldn't withhold sex from their husband because men are sexual beings and they need to have sex. And when I saw that video, I just thought to myself, are you kidding me right now? We literally are nothing as far as you're concerned. Like, doesn't
Why
matter.
would you encourage a woman to disregard her own feelings
For sex with a man.
and, to give him this pleasure?
When you know that sex is meant to be sacred, you claim that sex is sacred. Where is the sacredness in the sex when one person does not want to do it, but is being forced or coerced into doing it? And you're making her feel bad for it. Sometimes we don't fucking feel like having sex. It just is what it is. And you're allowed to not feel like it. But now you're making her feel like she's less of a woman, or she's not a good woman to a man. You know, because you have to serve your man, including sexually. If he wants to have sex, you must have sex with him. And it shocked me because I'm like, this is literally in this day and age. Like, and she's quite a young girl. She's like a young influencer, and she believes this wholeheartedly and is spreading this message.
Yeah. Well, the Bible, she's Christian, and I know the Bible says that as well. You know, that basically your husband is entitled to you in that way. And that you shouldn't.
He does.
But
did it not also say your wife is entitled to you in that way? Or that, not that it
yeah,
matters,
you both are entitled to each other. You shouldn't.
Yeah, it did say that. You shouldn't
withhold it from each other.
Again, but then when I say about the Bible, and people are going to be offended, but I really wish, you know, we all have freedom of speech. And in this life, I will always speak my truth, what belongs to me. The Bible was written by men. And the more I delve into this journey, the more I'm like, you lying little motherfuckers. That's why you see so much insane disparities when it comes to women. You know, that's why you see the breadcrumbing of women in the Bible too. Because, ooh, like, you know, the other day we talked about Mary Magdalene and how amazing she was or whatever. I'm like, oh my God, great. She was Jesus's first disciple. You know, that's breadcrumbing as far as I'm concerned. Really, when you think about it, it's a breadcrumb, because we're like, oh my God, there's one character it's a lie. It's a male-dominated book. It's a male-written book. So, of course, they wrote it to favour them. A lot of the things that they write, when I think about it, when I think about a lot of the things that are in there, obviously, you know, there's a lot of life advice in there and life lessons, but a lot of the other controversial things literally just stink of patriarchy. It's the patriarchal mind. The reasoning behind it is very much patriarchy. It's very much against the woman. So even though the Bible says that, of course, it was written by men, and insane men too, really. Like, I don't trust the majority of them. You know what I'm saying?
In a time period where you were literally only, I mean, we still just look like that now, but it was even worse in that time period. Like, you had absolutely no voice.
Zero.
Like, yeah, you were
cut you
not
out
to
from
be
the
seen
book.
or heard.
And they said that in the Bible. Women should not speak, and they can't speak to God either. You know, so that's the book you're listening to when it comes to your sexual pleasure. The same book that also doesn't really tell you that you should have sexual pleasure in the way it was written, because it was written by man. And bottom line, and God speaks through all of us, you know. I don't really see why their voices, their opinions of God is greater than mine, you know. So she's using the Bible she's quoting the Bible to just push women's oppression. And I'm like, how is that sacred? Is sex not supposed to be sacred? How is it sacred when it's just one person enjoying it? How is it sacred when you're not in unison and in harmony and like making real love and music? How is that sacred when I'm just doing it because you want to offload? Not because you're like, I adore you and I want to. Because you can't be, if I'm saying that to you and you say, I don't feel like it, instantaneously, I'm like, okay, I don't want to have sex with you then. Like, if I'm telling you I want to have sex with you because you're all of these amazing things and I want to create this amazing time with you, that's different. Because they don't want to do that. You just want to masturbate into me.
Right.
Whether or not, and then the thing is, when I tell you no, you're also now going to be happy. If I tell you no, and then I now say yes because of your coercion, you'll go ahead and do it. They'll go ahead and do it. You go ahead and masturbate onto me, basically. Knowing that I didn't want to do it and I still don't want to do it, but oh well, fuck it, she said yes now, so let me just quickly Anyway, bro, I've been talking for ages. Go ahead.
No, you haven't. I've been enjoying it. Because actually you said a few things that I was going to mention anyway, but it reminds me a while back it was a couple of conversations I had and about marriage. And I was talking to one of my cousins, and I remember she was saying that in her marriage, you know, at one point, it got to the point where she didn't want to sleep with her husband. Like, you know, and they ended up getting a divorce. But at one point, she just said, I just did not want to even sleep with him. She was, like, hiding in the closet, like, like on the phone, calling her mom, like, Mom, I don't want to know what to do. And her mom was like, you know, you need to go and pray. Her mom is a minister. She's like, you need to go and pray. You need to go and talk to God. But the worst thing you can do is withhold yourself from your husband. And she said she just cried because she didn't want to, but you know, obviously that's what you're obligated to do. And it's funny because we've had a conversation about it since then, and she has told me it was one of the worst pieces of advice she ever got. And then I asked her if she felt like you should give your partner sex when they want it, even if you don't want it. She said, yeah. She still said, yeah, despite that experience, despite knowing how, remembering, like, you don't remember how you felt in that moment. Yeah. But she's at the point now where she just, you know, just wants somebody so bad. And the biggest thing is, like, we lose ourselves and we forget. And we're so trained to not take on
a specific partner as well. She was like, the man who's deserving can get that from me.
Exactly. It's like, and you're so trained to, like, not respect your own feelings or value your own feelings. Like, there was a girl who posted something on social media recently, and she was, I guess she just had a baby, and she was saying, I think something is wrong with me. She was like, because I'm not in the mood, and I feel like I'm going to lose. She was like emotional and everything. She's like, I feel like I'm going to lose my relationship because of it. She was like, and I'm not doing it on purpose. Like, I like sex. I love sex. Like, I'm not doing it on purpose, but I'm just not in the mood. I'm not in the mood. I'm tired, and my body doesn't feel the same, and just all these things. And she's, you know, she's venting to people on social media, like, to talk to her, because she's like, what is wrong with me? Like, why do I not want to do it? You know, and this might end my relationship. Like, what do I do? And it just made me feel so bad because I've experienced that. I know what that feels like, especially like without having children, you have moments where you just not, you didn't have nothing to do with anybody. You're just not in the mood. Right. You know, that's normal. And also after going through something like, you know, giving birth, you have some women who their sex drive is different. Everybody is unique. But a lot of women share very similar stories with, you know, getting used to their new body and the hormones and the blood and everything regulating itself and everything trying to shift back a lot of time. And then taking care of a new child, and your level of exhaustion is through the roof. You know what I mean?
Still
like,
sore down
you're
there
not
for ages. Like,
you're sore for a long time. And even after you've healed a little bit, a lot of women still say that their sex drive is not the same right after having a baby. And again, that's unique for different people, but you have to honor and listen to your body. That's why you have Black women dying now at an astronomical rate during childbirth and labor, you know, because we don't listen to our bodies. Right. So imagine, like, in a situation like that, or in any situation where you sincerely just don't feel like it, and you're being made to do something that feels like it's going against what you actually feel. Like, that could be life-threatening. That could be damaging. And it might not even be something that's life-threatening. It might just be that y'all got into an argument and you're pissed off. Men don't like it then either. They don't like it when you're mad and then you withhold sex for them. But it's like, why do you even want to have sex with me while we mad? Right. And I know some people like angry make-up sex, but then that's two people want it together. Exactly. But if somebody doesn't want to, and they're not talking to you, or y'all are having like this little spout right now, but it's like, why would you want me to force myself through that to give sex to you if we're not even in a good place right now? So I've never understood that. And the first time I ever heard this story, my cousin told me, it just made me feel so disgusted, you know, that we live in a world that encourages women to silence everything about themselves and disregard everything about themselves and put everybody, absolutely everybody, especially the man, before themselves. You know, I remember being told by a relative that with my ex, and because he was cheating, and I decided I wasn't sleeping with him no more. Like, when I'm turned off, I'm turned off. Like, I'm turned off. You cheating. Right. You getting plenty. You doing what you doing. So it doesn't even matter. Right. And I remember being told by a relative that, you know, in all of her years of marriage, because she's older, she's never, ever withheld sex from her husband. And I was just like...
The fact that it's called withheld, like you said.
That makes you feel proud? I said, you feel proud because you've never withheld sex from him? I said, even though he was getting sex elsewhere, or even though, you know, he was satisfied, like, that's fine. We're two different people. But one, there's a couple of things at stake here. My mental health, right? That's first and foremost. Right. Secondly, where's the pleasure for me then? Because if I don't want to, that means I'm not going to enjoy it, right? And then, like you said earlier, why are you enjoying it when I'm not enjoying it? And then there's like this whole notion of the obligation, right? So you feel like because you have withheld sex, you know, that, or because you have never withheld sex from your husband, that makes you like, you know, it puts you on a certain pedestal or whatever, you know. But the thing is, it didn't stop him from doing any of the things that your husband did. And for you to give me that advice, it's like you putting me at jeopardy. If he's out here cheating, now I'm running the risk to catching a disease. So this, and most of that mind state comes from, like you said, patriarchy, living in this system. But a lot of women that say things like that are Christian women. I don't know, Muslim women might feel the same way. I don't know, because I know how women are treated very similar. Yeah. So you just feel like these obligations and like these requirements that go against what your heart tells you, or goes against what your gut tells you. And I think it's so disgusting. And I think at this point, women have to really stop to analyze things like I'm not with you for sex. We're not with each other for sex, right? You might have amazing sex, but you're not with somebody for sex. I'd hope not, right? And then if you get to the point, even if it's just a moment, or even if you just wake up on that side of the bed, or what, for whatever reason, if you decide that you don't want something, it is your right to withhold whatever you want to withhold. It is your right to say, not right now. You shouldn't be met with any kind of disrespect or violence. It shouldn't make or break your relationship because you don't want sex. Like, really, you have to really stop and think about who you're with, like how this person views you, because you feel like our relationship is based off of me not giving you sex, like on whether or not we're having sex. Like, that's ridiculous to me. You know what I mean? Like, it speaks volumes. It speaks volumes on how the world sees women still today. So when, like you mentioned earlier, I was a fan of Dana as well. I used to think that she was inspiring. You know, she was an inspirational young girl. She was talking about God a lot, very motivational. And I'm sure she still does some of that. You know, she gives her audience some of that still today. But it's certain things that I've heard, and that being one of them, that just really threw me off, because it's like, as a woman, like, how could you, knowing what women go through, you are a woman, how could you encourage another woman to not honor herself? So subconsciously, you are saying to every woman, and acknowledging that yourself included, you mean nothing. You mean nothing, and the man means absolutely everything. There is no partnership in that. There's no real love in that. There is no honor in that. And you're saying that that's what it should be, because that's the way that men, what did she say? Something like that's the way that they connect, or that's the way that they love, basically. No, that's not the way that they love. A lot of men are damaged. If a man is loving through sex, then that is a problem. He is damaged like some of the rest of them. That's definitely not the way that is love. A problem.
That's a lie. We love through sex, to be honest. They don't even know how to make love. Let's not be stupid here.
No, you know what I mean? No. It's just a feeling. And it's hypocritical, too, because there's another post I saw this guy speaking, and he was saying that men look at sex like they're just taking a piss. He said, like, he said, your best bet to have a guy connect with you through sex is to already have somewhat of a connection with him before sex. He said, because a guy can just have sex with you And literally, it's like he just went to go take a piss.
Right.
Like, you can look good. He said, yeah, that makes it better because I'm looking at you. You look good while I'm having sex or whatever. But it means nothing. It doesn't build this emotional connection because men are taught to have sex without emotional connection from very young. Most men are. So you're detached. You might enjoy it, but it doesn't do anything for you emotionally. I'm gonna find that post, but I just think it's interesting because it completely went against what she said, and this was a man saying this, you know. And we hear men say things like that all the time. That, you know, we could have sex and it means nothing. They say it when they cheat. It means nothing. It meant nothing. Yeah. Because if they connect emotionally with sex, then what does that mean when they're cheating? What does that mean when they're you know, when they're out there with other people? It meant nothing, right? So that means that they were emotionally connected to all these women they were dealing with. So you have a deeper issue than them just stepping out and having an accident, you know. So I just want women to, Lord, really use, take what people say. Let me rephrase it. Take what people say with a grain of salt, regardless of whoever you're listening to. You know, you might be people that you follow, and you might follow them for certain reasons. But at the end of the day, I think it is very important to really ground yourself in who you are, what your values are, and honor yourself, whatever that looks like. I don't care who it is. It could be family, friends. It could be your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever it is. But when it comes to relationships, you have to really make sure you're being true to yourself and your feelings and honoring yourself when it comes to things that make you uncomfortable or things that make you feel like you're sacrificing parts of yourself. You know what I mean? A lot of people do that by default anyway because of childhood trauma. So we really have to be cautious of that and cautious of people that are encouraging us to do things like that as well. You know what I mean? So
yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely, so important. Like, in this day and age, like I keep saying, in this day and age, like, it makes any kind of difference. It makes no difference. But it's just a shame, you know, that women have to, because to me, I can't get over the feeling that it's rape. Because, okay, the word I'm using, okay, sexual coercion, and to me, sexual coercion is rape. You know, it's a different form of rape.
It is.
And, you know, it's only recently, how many years ago was it that men were, the law only just changed. The men were husbands, were allowed to rape their wives. This is why I have a huge problem with marriage. I can't, no matter how you dress it up, like, it is what it is. This system is a system that was created to oppress us, period. Do you know what I mean? But now I think recently, well, not recently, a couple of decades back, they changed the law to say, okay, fine, a husband can rape a wife. Before, he couldn't legally rape a wife. He could do whatever he wanted, and the law said it was legal. Like, what about that is a loving situation? What about that is a loving scenario for a woman? You know what I mean? And then now, in this day and age, we're still having women say to you know, she's trying to, and it showed me because I went off Dana, you know, when I did a few years back. I kind of just, there's a few things we just didn't align anymore. And it happens, you know, you just don't align with people anymore. But I still felt like, and then she had a lot of issues going on with like social media hype. But I still felt like, you know, she had somewhat of a, and I still can't judge, I'm not in the relationship, of a loving relationship. But that one statement alone that she has made lets me know that you are in a terrible ass relationship. I don't give a fuck.
I completely agree.
If, like, your partner, because that's what you've just told us, that basically you lay with him whether or not you want it, and he knows that.
Even if you don't want to.
Even if you don't want to. And
he don't care.
Because you allow it, and he goes, you're
and you
a good
know
wife.
You don't have conversations like that for no reasons. Exactly, conversations like that come after y'all done had an argument about something.
Exactly.
And y'all done had to stop and go to God and go to the Bible and talk to people and figure it out. And it's like, well, no, if I want him to love me, I got to have sex, even when I don't want it.
And it just had me looking.
That's deep.
Like, wow, that's the kind of relationship you got right now. And so many women are aspiring to it, you know, like, yeah, it's true. And it's like, no, man, you deserve so much more. You're so much more than that. And I'm so sick of women feeling inferior to men. And feeling like their whole purpose in this life is to cater to a man and to be under a man, and that her feelings are worthless. I'm sick to death of it. Like, that is not the reason that you were manifested into this world. Come on, digga man. Like, if you're gonna do it like, please let him love on you with sense and like beauty and grace and beauty from the universe, you know, like how you should be loved, not forcing you to have sex when you don't want to and telling you it's because I love you. That is not love. That to me is fucking rape. I just can't. I can't. And I love people to say, oh, Tess, you're being a bit dramatic. I can't. Like, my brain registers that as rape. I can't. There's no other way for me to register it. And it's shocking that is her relationship and you are now pushing that. And I think that, you know, a lot of the things that we see in social media is when the patriarchy is trying to push a certain agenda, because this is within the black community as well. They do a lot of stuff, like they show a lot of bullshit to make us, to destroy our relationships essentially, right? Because just a couple of weeks ago, wasn't there just Jazzy? She's another person, again, we're calling names, which I hate doing, but I really used to like her. I thought she was so funny, and then I unfollowed her we just didn't align anymore. I started noticing that her content was not aligning with my views and my, like, where I was going. And then recently she released a podcast with whoever, and she's talking about her partner and how she is with her partner, and how, again, she has sex and does sexual positions like anal, even though she doesn't want to, and it hurts her because he wants to have it. And you see the narrative that's coming out. They're pushing this narrative that women should, and they're pushing it to young girls because the older generation already think like this. Mm-hmm. You know, like you mentioned, you know, your family members, you know, and I've had people tell me as well, like, the worst part about it, is that you can't turn down sex, the older generation, you can't turn down sex, but you're also not allowed to enjoy sex. Because if you know, well, I don't know how, for Africans especially, it would be like, you know, if you are doing too much with the sex, then you're a prostitute. You have to act like you don't like the sex, like you're a virgin, you know, just lay there. A lot of us were told that, you know what I mean? So on top of that, just to show you how much
Here the men want you to be virgins that's like porn stars at the same time.
Really? Yeah, but right.
You need to be doing tricks and stuff,
right.
but you need to be.
But don't make love though.
Like
just porn star tricks. Don't anything to disconnect that that connection. No, we're not gonna have that. Mm-hmm. I heard some men the other day. They were playing actually a song. I digress, but Bob Marley, Esau niggas. Bob Marley, what was it called? I wanna love you. That was him. And treat you right. Oh, bro, I can't wait to go to the goddamn island. Mm-hmm. But and they were walking past, and they were like, I wanna fuck you, and I just was looking at them. I said, that's it. Yeah, that's it. And they were laughing too. I was like, you are so dumb. Because that's what you want to do. Like, because heaven forbid you love. Just the fuck. And you don't even know how to do that. It's the problem.
Right.
I wish you could even do it. You don't. Because if you could do it, women would not be complaining. At least we're having orgasms and just, enjoying ourselves. Can't even do that.
At the very least.
At the very least. But yeah, honestly, it's like, ladies, this agenda that they're trying to push, reject it. It's not for you. Sex is a two-way street. It's a two-way activity. You must both be willing participants. If you don't feel like it, there's nothing wrong with it. You're allowed to just not feel like it. You're not here to just be on sex on demand for whoever wants it, even if you don't feel like it. It's reciprocal. And if it's not reciprocal, then of course that is abuse. Under any circumstance, whether it's your partner, whether it's your husband, whether it's your girlfriend, it does not matter. If you're having sex with somebody and you don't want to, and they know that you don't want to do it, but you're doing it because you're being coerced into it, and they're manipulating you, they're making you feel guilty. That's another thing men do. They may not be angry with you in the open sense, or violent in that way, but they'll revert to emotional abuse and manipulation. They'll make you feel guilty. Like I said earlier, blue balls, and I just really want it. That kind of coercion, that still is guilt tripping you. That still is manipulation. That still is abuse. No matter what they're saying to you, don't keep the sacredness. If you want to talk about sacred sex, keep your sex sacred, especially with your partner. What about that is sacred? What about you having sex when you don't want to is sacred? People say I'm devouring myself, I'm devoting myself to him. Devote yourself to yourself first, devote yourself to yourself. You deserve that much to be letting someone just hammer inside you because they're your partner. And you have to rethink that. If your partner thinks like that, rethink it. Rethink your partner. Honestly, you better rethink that partner of yours. If sex is how you feel about sex does not matter. It's literally what they want. Or they get angry. Like some partners, you'll say, I don't want to have sex, and then they give you the silent treatment, manipulation, or they get angry, manipulation. You know, that's all manipulation tactics. Like, and it says volumes about their character, and I don't think that those things should be ignored. I think that they are red flags. I really do. And I know people are like, oh God, everything is a red flag test. But it is, you know.
It is.
Because these are the things that kind of tie up your soul and like your essence, you know, like little nugs here and there that just make you weaken, and you don't realize how you're getting weak, but you're getting weaker. Your energy's getting weaker because of these things that you're tolerating. No. Like, imagine something so sacred as sex. You're just having it because this one over here wants to just dump into you. And they're telling you that. The thing is...
Well, you better go use your hand and stop playing with me.
Go use your hand and calm down. Like, why must you... Because to me, it's again goes to the oppression and the demeaning and degrading, because it's a fucking degrading act. I don't care. If you know... Because it's happened to me a few times when I was younger. Can't lie, a few times. You know? And if you know I don't want to, and I've said I don't want to, and you do it anyway, you're just degrading me. And oftentimes, because we just lie there, oftentimes as well, I've had a few times I've done it. So it's clearly rape. Like, it's just lying there, like, okay. And they don't, it's so crazy to me how they go ahead with it. And then after, okay, like, I mean, no, ladies, seriously, we've got to reevaluate the people that we're laying down with and the people that we're calling partners just in the name of having a partner. You know? Yeah. This is what we keep saying throughout the episodes.
Look at everybody sideways. Look at anybody sideways that and reevaluate whether or not they should be in your life if they are encouraging you to do something like have sex with somebody when you do not want to. Right. Look at everybody sideways, girl.
Irrespective of who the person is, husband or not.
If they need to even be in your life. I don't care who it is.
Husband, boyfriend, whatever.
It could be your grandma. You need to look at grandma.
Absolutely not. Yeah, like.
No, ma'am.
Nobody.
Yeah, no.
Like, you have autonomy over your body. Just because you're married or because you're in a relationship doesn't mean that you lose autonomy over your body. I know you think it's cute, you know, but it's not. Keep your autonomy, ladies. You know, and use your voices. I beg you, only have one life. And I've realised that with these men especially, they will do what you allow. So if you say no and that causes the relationship to end, my dear, I beg, better is coming. Honestly, to me that's a breakup offense. That's a huge offense for me. Like, you can't try and manipulate me or force me into sex. No way. Mm-mm. I will not be abused in my relationship, not in that way as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I find it so abusive. Like, I can't. It is. Yeah. So, yeah.
All right, ladies. As always, you know how this goes.
You know how it goes.
If you're not already, please follow us on our platforms at the Pow Podcast, on TikTok, on Twitter, on Instagram. Shoot us an email if you need to. If you have any questions, please DM us, write us, and let us know. I'd love to know. Or maybe we should just post a poll. We'll do a poll. You know, how many of you ladies feel like you should withhold sex, and how many of you feel like you should not withhold sex?